Hey, what's going on, guys? It is Deibs, Mr. Crockpot on Twitter. Welcome to Sixers Film Room. Today is our first installment of our Sixers grades, and to lead us off is my man Matisse Thybulle. By the way, if you guys love the Philadelphia 76ers, please be sure to like this video below. Please be sure to subscribe. Many more season reviews coming out in the very near future. Before we get ready for the Sixers playoffs, let's get started. When you start talking about Matisse Thybulle, you have to start off with this is a guy who looked better and better as the season progressed. He shot 34.8% from three in February. He shot 38.2% from three in March. Not so great in April or May, but you look at his defensive rating. Oh my goodness. He had a 101 defensive rating in March in 13 games. He had a 104 defensive rating in April. And then he finished it off with a 100 defensive rating in May. This guy brought it on the defensive end and made a huge impact. You look at for the last 5 months of the season, he finished a positive on the court despite struggling offensively. Let's start off with offense and compare Matisse Thybulle this year from last year. You talk about offensive rating. Matisse Thybulle had a 104 offensive rating in 2020-2021, a 1 point lower than his 105 rating last season. You look at the catch and shoot, definitely dropped for Matisse Thybulle this year. He went from 37.3% shooting from three-point range in the catch and shoot last year to just 30.1% this year. And right around the same attempts per game, 2.3 attempts last year, 2.1 attempts this year. Let's talk about cutting to the basket. This is where you saw a massive drop. You could blame Doc Rivers, whatever you want to do, but my goodness, you look at his cutting to the basket points per possession, 1.53 in 2019, dropping down to 1.09 points per possession this season. Same amount of attempts, but you look at his just overall effectiveness. Last year, cutting to the basket, Matisse Thybulle had a 75% effective field goal percentage. You look at this year, just 60%. He was 90th percentile best at cutting to the basket in 2019, just 18th percentile this year. If that's something that I would love to see Doc Rivers unleash in the playoffs, getting Matisse Thybulle cutting to the basket, that is it. Let's talk about transition points. You look at Matisse Thybulle, much better in transition this season, 1.21 points per possession compared to last year of 1.15. He was good for 70th percentile in transition with a 63.6 effective field goal percentage, roughly the same field goal percentage in 2019. So you've got improvement there in transition. Other than that, cutting to the basket, catch and shoot, offensive rating, definitely saw a little bit of a drop there offensively. Let's go on to defense, the bread and butter of what Matisse Thybulle is all about. And you start with defensive field goal percentage. Major improvement. You saw Matisse Thybulle hold guys to 37.2% from the field, much improved compared to 41.6% in 2019. How did he do holding teams from the three-point range? Little, not as good as 2019, but still really good, guys. He held three-point shooters to 31.2% this season, down a little bit from 29% in 2019. Let's talk about defensive rating. Unlike offensive rating, which dipped a little bit, this got better. 103 defensive rating for Matisse Thybulle this year. It was 106 last year. And then you talk about the real improvements. We're getting into blocks, we're getting into steals, and we're getting into deflections. My goodness. Matisse Thybulle blocks per 36, an astronomical 2.0 and 4.9% block percentage. That is an improvement from 1.3 blocks per 36 and a 3.1 block percentage back in 2019. You look at steals per 36, 2.6 in 2019, up to 2.9 this year. And then steal percentage wise, you're talking 3.5% to 3.9%. My goodness, this guy just is a terror on the perimeter. Let's talk about deflections per 36 minutes. 4.7 deflections per 36 minutes in 2019, 5.6 in 2020-2021, a legit improvement. And then we get to pick and roll defense. That has been an Achilles heel for the Sixers for years. Let's look at the stats. 0.87 points per possession defending the pick and roll this season. That was good for 56th percentile. He held guys in the pick and roll to 39.6% from the floor. Definitely not as good as 2019. Let's look at that. 0.8 points per possession defending guys in the pick and roll in 2019, holding them to 37% from the field and the 70th percentile. So how does Matisse Thybulle stack up from 2019 to this season? I think you got to say he definitely took that next step defensively as one of the biggest defensive weapons in the NBA. He improved in defensive field goal percentage. He improved in defensive rating. He improved in blocks per 36. He improved in steals per 36, deflections per 36. Other than pick and roll defense and holding guys on the perimeter, 3-point shooting wise, this guy brought it every single day, especially as the season progressed. How would I grade Matisse Thybulle? I think a solid B+. As much as I want to give him an A for his defense, I gotta definitely give him a knock there offensively. This guy, listen, this guy is a 3-point shot away from being one of the most impactful starters in the game. That's how highly I look at Matisse Thybulle in his development. Overall, I'm ecstatic for what he brought, especially the last 4 months, being a positive net on the court. He is, in my opinion, one of the biggest X factors this playoff season. So, how would you guys grade Matisse Thybulle? I want to hear from you guys. Let us know there in the comment section below. Would you grade him an A? Would you grade him a B? And if you love Matisse Thybulle as much as myself, please be sure to like this video. Give me a follow on Twitter at Mr. Crockpot. Stay tuned for more season grades of Sixers players as we go along here. Thank you everybody for watching. Go Sixers, stay awesome.